Hey everyone, a warm welcome if you are new to this channel, and thank you to those who have subscribed and coming back to our channel again. Today we are breaking down the process and looking at the qualification and requirements for registration. First, with the Nursing Council of New Zealand before you can be registered with AHPRA in Australia as a registered nurse. If you are an internationally qualified nurse or midwife, registered and practicing, that is, holding an active license in one of these English speaking countries like UK, Ireland, USA, Canada, and Singapore, and have completed your nursing qualifications, that is, you have graduated with a bachelor's degree in nursing in your home country and currently hold a valid nursing registration license in your home country, this video is for you. Now, before we start, I'd like to put this disclaimer to you. All information presented in this video are from our own research and careful understanding of the process at the time of this video being produced. Any changes post this date, we cannot confirm or deny. I would encourage you to do your own research post watching this video to ensure you're up to date on all changes that are made in relation to nursing registration with the Nursing Council of New Zealand. Let us first understand the distinction between a registered nurse and enrolled nurse. We get asked this question all the time from our clients. As we can understand, the scope of practice for an enrolled nurse and registered nurse is quite different. An enrolled nurse must work under direct or indirect supervision of a registered nurse at all times. We will leave a link to the Nursing and Midwifery Board's FAQs so you can refer to it for more details in the description box below. Let's look at the process to apply for registration via the Nursing Council of New Zealand. If you're currently holding a current nurse registration in the UK, Ireland, Canadian provinces of Ontario and British Columbia, Singapore or the USA, your application will be assessed by the New Zealand Nursing Council for registration as a registered nurse, and you're able to obtain a New Zealand practicing certificate. Thereafter, you can utilize the Trans-Tasman Mutual Recognition Act of 1997 that allows recognition of your New Zealand nurse registration credentials to apply for registration with AHPRA in Australia and become a registered nurse, and also obtain a practicing certificate for Australia. Why can't I apply under the direct pathway with AHPRA? It's important you understand you can only apply for the direct pathway for registration with AHPRA to work as a registered nurse in Australia if you have completed your nursing studies in one of the above English-speaking countries and first obtained your registration as a nurse and started practicing in those countries. If you have completed your studies elsewhere and now working in these English-speaking countries, you are ineligible for this pathway. What about the OBA assessment process? Stream B, does that apply? We have recently done another video in which we talk through the steps, the process and requirements that you would need to follow if you'd like to apply directly with AHPRA for registration under Stream B. We will tag this video and also leave a link in the description box so that you may watch it as required. Eligibility criteria. Before I jump into explaining the process, here are a few important criteria that you are required to meet in terms of eligibility to move forward with this pathway. 1. A diploma in nursing is not a qualification that is accepted as meeting the New Zealand qualification standards for registration. You must have completed a graduate level qualification, that is, a bachelor's degree in nursing, to be eligible. 2. You must hold a current nursing registration with an overseas authority and practice as a nurse in the last 10 years. You must be able to show evidence that you have at least 1800 hours of practice as a nurse post obtaining your qualifications. 3. You're able to provide evidence that you meet the English language proficiency standards as required. That is, showing proof that includes either an OET test achieved a minimum score of 350 for reading, listening, and speaking, and a minimum score of 300 for writing. Or you could show the IELTS academics test scores achieved a minimum of 7 for reading, listening, and speaking, and a minimum score of 6.5 for writing. Now, you could have achieved these scores in more than one sitting. However, the scores must have been met within 12 months of you first sitting the test. Let's get started with the New Zealand registration process. We'll address the key steps that you're required to complete to obtain your New Zealand registration first. As an internationally qualified nurse or midwife, it's a two-step process to obtain your registration with Nursing Council of New Zealand. Step 1 is the Credentials Verification Service. This step involves verification of your documents with CGFNS International, a third-party provider approved by the Nursing Council of New Zealand, to verify your nursing qualifications are equivalent to the New Zealand qualification standards before you're able to make an application to be registered with the council. Step 2, you apply to become registered with the Nursing Council of New Zealand. So what's actually required to complete the credentials verification? In starting with the verification process, CGFNS requires that you meet the criteria and qualification standards before you move to the next step of the registration process. You are required to create an account and make a payment of US $300 towards your application. Once your account is active, you will be able to access the portal for the next 12 months. This gives you enough time to collect and provide them with all of the required information and supporting documents. Now, there are a few forms that are required to be completed. The first form is the identity documents. Here you are to provide your identification information and documents like passport, driver's license, government documents like marriage certificate for a name change, etc. Now, all of these documents are to be duly notarized before it is submitted. Form number 2, employment history. This form must be sent to all your previous employers. They are required to complete this form with the required information in terms of your work experience and certify your employment dates and send it directly back to CGFNS. Form number 3, educational history. This form is required to be completed by the dean or the head of nursing studies at the university where you've completed your graduate degree. They are to send attested copies of your transcript and syllabus directly to CGFNS. Form number 4, license validation. This form is required to be completed by the Nursing Council in your respective countries. They are to attach copies of your registration certificate where you hold valid nursing registration. And finally, language proficiency. Here you can attach your IELTS or OET test results as evidence to show that you meet the prescribed scores. Once all information has been sent to CGFNS, within 30 days they will compile a report and share the same with you for your review and confirmation if all information reflected is correct. Before you are asked to authorize them to share the same with the Nursing Council of New Zealand. CGFNS will send the report directly to the Nursing Council of New Zealand for their final review. We'll leave links to the CGFNS handbook in the description box so you can refer to these steps that have been covered. Now we are moving on to step 2, apply to become registered with the Nursing Council of New Zealand. Nursing Council of New Zealand will send you an email once they received your information from CGFNS and request you to start your application for the registration process. You will be asked to make a payment of New Zealand dollars 485 at this stage. Once your payment is received, New Zealand Council will appoint a case officer to look at your file. The case officer will look at all of the information submitted by CGFNS and assess your application and information presented. if they meet the New Zealand qualification standards. If they require additional detail or clarification, they would send you an email and you are required to respond to them as soon as possible. If everything is good, you then move to the next part of the process. You will receive a notification from the Nursing Council of New Zealand to proceed to the fitness to practice checks. This is the international criminal history checks, where you need to submit an individual application for each of the countries you have lived in. Once the step is completed and your checks are clear, you will be eligible to apply for registration with the council. In some cases, the Nursing Council of New Zealand may require you to complete a competence assessment program, CAP in short, if they are not satisfied with some of the details. For the most part, though, you should be able to meet and complete the registration process with this step. Finally, you'll be asked to complete 2 free online courses which you must complete to become registered. These courses provide an introduction to culturally safe nursing practices in New Zealand and the foundations in cultural competence. Once you have completed these courses, you will be registered and receive a confirmation notification from the Nursing Council of New Zealand. Congratulations to you on getting to this step. You must apply for the annual practicing certificate with the Nursing Council of New Zealand. This can be applied online by making a payment of New Zealand dollars 130. This will be issued to you in 1 to 2 weeks. With this certificate in hand, you are good to start to practice as a registered nurse in New Zealand. Now we can move forward with the AHPRA registration process. Using your recently acquired New Zealand registration credentials, you're able to make an application to AHPRA to be registered as a registered nurse in Australia. You are required to make an online application to AHPRA and submit your identification documents as proof. Along with that, you're required to share your recently acquired New Zealand nurse registration details and provide them with a copy of your annual practicing certificate. You're also required to make a payment of Australian dollars 450 towards the processing of your registration. In a few weeks, you will receive intimation from AHPRA with your registration details. You are now officially a registered nurse in Australia. Congratulations is now in order to you for this big achievement. I will attach the relevant links for the Nursing Council of New Zealand and the CGFNS verification site in the description box below. You can read through the links and understand the process as covered in this video. If you're looking for a job or work opportunities with employers in Australia as a registered nurse, kindly use the Contact Us link in the description box to share with us your details. You are required to be AHPRA registered to be eligible to work in Australia. We work closely with a number of employers and can refer your application to them for employment and support you in the necessary visa/migration requirements. And there you have it, folks. All of the critical information and steps that can help you on your journey to become registered with AHPRA. If you require any other assistance or guidance with regards to Australian jobs, employment, work or skill migration visas, or any other immigration matter, connect with us using the contact details on screen. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button for more tips and updates. If you have any questions or comments that you would like to share from your own experience or expert tips, do let us know in the comments box below. Wishing you good luck on your journey to become a registered nurse in Australia.